Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Thank you for the opportunity to share some reflections with you. Let me begin by paying tribute to over 1 million American men and women in uniform who've stood shoulder to shoulder with us. If they are members of the Gold Star families, my particular greetings to them in the gratitude of a nation that is benefited and will never forget those sacrifices. Let me equally thank the civilians, diplomats, and Americans of all walks of life who've empathized, sympathized, and supported us. Particularly, let me pay tribute to the American taxpayer over the years. Has been extraordinarily generous in her support or his support with this nation that has been threatened but has never bowed to pressures or to the threats of terror. As business is the engine of growth, and value chains are the best way of producing cooperative advantage for all concerned in the development of that value chain, in making legitimate profits, it's a pleasure to be able to share some thoughts with you, and I look very much forward to the results of this conference, where my colleagues, particularly Ambassador Mohib, will provide you a perspective on security and other dimensions of our reforms, will brief me. Let me thank the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce for providing a forum in creating this opportunity. President Trump's South Asia strategy is a game changer. I thank the President and all key policymakers for producing in a different environment, an environment for which the Afghan people in the region were waiting for 40 years. In this context, the role of American business in support and engagement with the strategies of the United States and the goal, a secure Afghanistan within a secure region that can be the bastion for defending a democratic order in Afghanistan and ensuring the security of the United States is finally achievable. Let me get straight to the point. Our firms investing. Let me provide some examples. $600 million from the Al Qusay Group in food processing is getting to the stage of production. Work is rapidly progressing on 6 factories, and we should soon see a transformation. $380 million investment by independent power producers. And one of the most significant is a $180 million investment in Kajakai, in the middle of Helmand, where a Turkish firm is finding it profitable to be able to generate 100 megawatts of power. $320 million of investment by 4 telecom companies in fiber optics. Still, 19 factories have been established investing in steel and related iron products. A $25 million investment by the Khan Group in Kabul alone reduced our import of steel by 35%. Chamber of Industry and Commerce states that we've gained self-sufficiency in 21 sectors and are fast moving on another 20. Prefab, government investment in the first prefab factory in Afghanistan, producing 1 million cubic meters a year, but now estimated to be moving 3 to 3 million cubic meters, quickly followed by $20 million of investment by the Gulzar Group. Talc and marble, both beginning 2 factories, one with 15 million in Nangarhar and another 15 million producing tiles and slabs to the standard of Italy in Kabul. I can provide dozens of other examples, but I hope that the key question is answered. Afghan businesses and those companies that know us are beginning to see a new climate, and they are investing. Is the region investing? Yes. So let me share a quick perspective from Central Asia. Turkmenistan invested in the railways to connect both the port of Aqina, the dry port of Aqina, and the dry port of Turgundi. It is investing massively in the expansion of power, namely electricity, to Afghanistan and beyond. And TAPI, of course, is no longer a dream or some would say mere speculation of 25 years. It's becoming a reality, and it's becoming a corridor. Fiber optics, railway, power transmission, roads. This would be a key developmental sector where the security and warmth of tens of millions of families in Pakistan, in India, will depend on cooperation and predictability of supplies generated in Turkmenistan, flowing through Afghanistan to Pakistan and then to India. Uzbekistan. The Balkh-Herat Railway will be a transformative event because Central Asia will be connected to the networks in the Gulf and to South Asia. The government of Uzbekistan is making a commitment of $500 million of investment to be matched by us, and we are now looking for the rest to international financing. CASA is moving. Afghanistan is 1 year full ahead of schedule, but now the contracts have been opened in Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Pakistan, and it's feasible. The Lapis Lazuli, and besides that, we are going to have the digital CASA. Lapis Lazuli. The Lapis Lazuli corridor will enable products, people, and goods to flow from Afghanistan to Turkmenistan, to Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and beyond to Europe. Why? Why are these things happening? Why were they not happening before? Why are they happening now? First, because we're focused on removing the climate of distrust and confrontation between the government and the private sector. What's the vehicle? The High Economic Council has become the vehicle for a transparent and inclusive process of dialogue and discussion between the Afghan government and the private sector. In the last 1 month alone, I've presided over 5 meetings of the High Economic Council, and this is allowing us to tackle policy making and policy implementation rapidly and comprehensively. Second, the compact between the United States and Afghanistan, where one critical element is creation of the enabling environment for the private sector, is a time-bound series of commitments where compliance is total. Let me give you some illustration. Revision of the bankruptcy law, revision of the companies law, revision of the transport law, audits of major state-owned enterprises of companies, fundamental change in the visa regime where you, our distinguished interlocutors, will now be able to get a visa in Kabul and get it effectively and cheaply. Doing business indicators. We focused our reform agenda on meeting the doing business indicators, and an entire series office, Ajmal Ahmadi, has been doing a fantastic job in focusing our attention on doing business indicators. Procurement. I personally presided over a procurement reform process, chairing over 130 sessions, and this is bringing a fundamental reorientation between the private sector and the public sector, because procurement is both rapid now, credible, and soon we will be moving to electronic procurement. Tackling corruption. High-ranking officials, whether three-star generals or deputy ministers, are now indicted. The Center for Justice and Rule of Law is proceeding with full independence and support. Corruption is not free of cost now. To those who commit it, they pay for it, and the nation is welcome there. Rule of law institutions. We've invested very heavily in the rule of law institutions. Our Supreme Court and Attorney General's Office and Civil Service Commission are now remarkable examples. The most significant change is the generational change. Leadership and management is being passed to a new generation, and I'm sure that this generation will lead, will become, like the GI generation of the United States, the great generation in Afghanistan that is going to manage the transition from insecurity and war to peace, stability, tolerance, and economic growth. We're tackling the basics. Internet cost in 2014 to the Afghan Telecom was $96 per megabyte. It's been reduced to 13. In January of 2019, it'd be $6.50. Power. 7 new provinces have been connected to the power grid. Price has been reduced 6 to 7-fold. In 2 years, all centers of 34 provinces would be linked. And in 2 years, we hope to be anticipating demand rather than catching up with it from the private sector. Land. A land bank has been created for all public property, and a central database for all government properties has been established. Policy, bad strategies, not absence of strategy, but bad strategies that were incoherent, contradictory, or being replaced with clear roadmaps. Mining roadmap is one of those. Let me turn to my concluding remarks and to focus on American business. The United States is invested generously in blood and treasure. Afghanistan forever will remember this investment with gratitude. We, the Government of National Unity, have deepened and broadened the partnership with the United States by proving our willingness to sacrifice for our freedom and own and confront our problems. Afghanistan does not need advice now on reform. We are leading in owning and implementing. And this is being greeted with full support by our people. Our goal for 2024 in the economic area are very simple. It's straightforward. Getting to 9% rate of growth to generate $8 billion of domestic revenue and to change 7 to 1 negative balance of trade to a positive one. Tall agenda? Yes, in London also, when I said we will tackle corruption, defend our country, ensure democratic expansion of rights, it was seen as tall order. Nobody thinks now that that's a tall order. If you don't aim high, you don't achieve by aiming low. Your partnership is essential to the realization of this ambitious but feasible agenda. A feasible agenda is an agenda that describes both the goals but also the mechanisms and the partners in the business community in the United States, particularly in the area of lithium and rare earth, as well as the enormous other opportunities. Look at Afghanistan not as a national market. Look at it as a platform for an immense region of over 4 billion people, and your perspective, inshallah, will change. Let me conclude by once again thanking the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce for creating and sustaining this important platform during the last 13 years. I look very much forward to your deliberations, to your suggestions, to your partnership, but particularly to your investments. Those investments will tighten our bonds, deepen and broaden our partnership, and bring value in meaning. We intend to purchase American whenever feasible, and we hope that institutions like OPEC and the Exim Bank will become instruments for leveling the playing field for American business. We fully intend to create this level playing field. Thank you, and best of luck with your proceedings. I look very much forward to a successful conference.